The first time I noticed something wrong with my reflection was on a Tuesday morning when the city felt softer than usual. The rain had just stopped, leaving the roads slick and shining, and I was already late for work. I rushed into the small cafe near my apartment, ordered my usual tea, and glanced at the mirror behind the counter to fix my hair. For a brief moment, my reflection smiled before I did. It was subtle enough that I blamed my tired eyes. I smiled properly, experimentally, and the reflection followed as expected. Still, a strange chill ran through me. I paid and stepped back outside, shaking off the feeling. People often see odd things when they're exhausted, I told myself. That evening, as I walked home, a man stopped me near the bus stop. He looked about my age, early 30s, with kind eyes and a nervous posture, as if he didn't quite trust the ground beneath his feet. "Excuse me," he said gently. "I know this is strange, but, do you believe faces can be borrowed?" I laughed awkwardly, assuming it was a joke or some kind of street performance. "I think you've got the wrong person." He nodded, as if expecting that answer. "I probably do," he said. "I'm sorry to bother you." As he walked away, I noticed something unsettling. From behind, his posture looked exactly like mine, same slight hunch, same careful steps. The thought followed me home like a shadow. Over the next few days, people began treating me differently. My neighbor, Mrs. Khan, who barely spoke to anyone, stopped me in the hallway and thanked me for helping her carry groceries the night before. I hadn't done that. A coworker asked if I was feeling better after that emotional conversation we had. We had never spoken outside of meetings. At first, I thought people were confusing me with someone else. But the stories grew more specific. Too specific. They described my voice, my gestures, even a small scar near my eyebrow that I'd had since childhood. One evening, I stood in front of my bathroom mirror, staring at my own face as if it might confess something. "Who are you?" I whispered. My reflection looked back calmly. Completely normal. Completely mine. Then, very softly, I heard a knock on my door. It was the man from the bus stop. "I was hoping you'd let me explain," he said. "I promise I won't take much of your time. I've already taken enough." Against my better judgment, I let him in. His name was Samir. He sat on the edge of my couch, hands folded, eyes downcast. Up close, the resemblance was undeniable. It wasn't exact, but it was close enough to make my stomach tighten. "I don't steal," he said suddenly. "Not in the way you're thinking. I borrow. And I always give back." "Borrow what?" I asked, though part of me already knew. "Faces," he replied. "Identities." For a little while. I wanted to yell at him, demand answers, throw him out. But there was something painfully sincere about him, like a child confessing a mistake. "I was very sick once," he continued. "Years ago. I survived, but when I came back, no one recognized me, not just physically, but emotionally. People looked through me. I became invisible." He looked up at me then, eyes shining. "Borrowing a face lets me exist again. It lets me help people who wouldn't otherwise listen to me." My anger faltered. "Help them how?" He told me about Mrs. Khan's groceries. About listening to my coworker talk about her divorce late at night. About calming a scared child on the bus who reminded him of his younger brother. Every story carried the same thread: kindness given quietly, without recognition. "But why me?" I asked. "Because your face," he said softly, "feels safe. People trust you. And I needed a face like that." I should have told him to stop immediately. I should have called the police. Instead, I felt something unexpected: pity, and a strange sense of responsibility. "There are rules," he added quickly. "I never do anything that would harm your life. I never take more than a few hours. And I was planning to stop soon." "Planning," I repeated. You didn't ask. He nodded. I know. That's why I'm here. To ask now. Silence filled the room. I thought of all the good he'd done wearing my face. Of how those people had felt seen, helped, comforted. What happens if I say no? I asked. I disappear again, he said honestly. But I'll respect it. That night, I didn't sleep. I stood in front of the mirror again, studying the face I'd always taken for granted. How many small kindnesses had it been capable of, simply by existing? The next morning, I gave Samir an answer. You can borrow it, I said. But only if you tell me where you go. Only if we do this together. His relief was overwhelming. Thank you, he whispered, like the words carried a weight he'd been holding for years. Over the following weeks, we developed a strange routine. He borrowed my face for short periods, always to do something gentle, help an elderly man find his way home, speak to someone too shy to ask for help, stand in for me when kindness was needed but courage was lacking. In return, he told me everything. Where he went, who he helped, what they said. Through him, I learned how powerful simple compassion could be when paired with familiarity. But borrowing a face comes with a cost. One evening, he returned later than promised. His borrowed smile faded as soon as the door closed. I made a mistake, he said. Someone recognized you. Really recognized you. She said you saved her life. My heart raced. I didn't. I know, he said. But she believes you did. And now she wants you there for her. For the first time, I felt the weight of borrowed kindness pressing down on me. Good deeds created expectations, connections, obligations. I can fix this, he said quickly. I'll go back. I'll explain. No, I said after a long pause. I will. The woman lived alone, grieving, fragile. When I knocked on her door, she smiled through tears and thanked me for listening to her when no one else would. I didn't correct her. I sat with her, held her hand, and listened, truly listened. In that moment, I realized something profound. Whether or not I had been there before didn't matter. What mattered was that I was there now. When I returned home, Samir was waiting. You don't need me anymore, he said quietly. I think I still do, I replied. Just not the way we thought. We made a final agreement. He would stop borrowing my face. Instead, we would walk together sometimes, side by side, offering kindness as ourselves. It wouldn't be as easy. People wouldn't always listen. But it would be real. Months later, when I pass mirrors, my reflection behaves exactly as it should. But my face feels different now, richer somehow, shaped not just by bone and skin, but by every act of compassion it's been part of. Sometimes, strangers smile at me like they know me. And maybe they do. Not because someone borrowed my face, but because kindness, once given, always finds a way to recognize itself.